Listen, the first 30 minutes, Gregor, I mean, it was a total disaster. 17-0, 2 boys off injured, yellow card. What are you thinking at that point?
Well, obviously, you're thinking different things during that period. The yellow card when we were 7-0 down, that was going to be a tough period for us. And we actually regrouped fairly well. I think it was 3-0 just at the end of that period, but with 2 minutes to go, the yellow card, we lost 2 key players. And yeah, when you're 17-0 down, it's when things haven't gone well for you and you've had to make changes. You do feel that the opposition could build on that, but I was really proud of the way we came back. We came back at the end of the first half, and then how we got line breaks, how we got in behind, we forced penalties. And Murray's question before about should we have played in that area? I felt we were getting back into the game, getting to 6 points, and then you look at the error off the kickoff. That just gives them momentum back. But up to that stage, we were building back into the game. But once they score another try, it's very tough to get ahead again.
To go 17-0 down, it's kind of shades of the World Cup games. Can you say that this team is progressing against Ireland? Like that happens again.
Well, if you look at one opponent that we're playing against, well, obviously they've beaten us again, so they're a quality side, and we didn't play well enough today. We made a few errors in that first 20 minutes. A couple of handling errors, obviously the penalty that led to a yellow card, that put us under unnecessary pressure. But the middle period was where we got back into the game. We just didn't do enough to get ahead in the scoreboard.
What should you have done that you didn't do? That you were intending to do?
I think that there's too many, and well, you can't just say one thing. When we got back to 17-11, Matt Ferguson takes a kick off, has a great carry. As he hits the ground, he loses ball. Jamie Dobie gets up for a great high ball that he wins back. James Lowe picks it up and gets into 22. So there'll be easy fix-ups. Look after the ball in contact. Make sure someone is this side of Jamie Dobie when he gets up to win the ball back, so that the opposition don't get the ball. I think the bigger learning is like we have to do more to stop an opposition like Ireland getting into our 22, because pressure comes from that. In the first half there was penalties, penalty advantage, then a try. In the second half it meant that we were having to play from a deep area, which was at times we managed to get out there, but at times it's difficult.
That the fact that you couldn't do it often enough, is that just a difference in class, or is it just your mistakes?
I would say today it was errors that gave them the ball back. I think there were times when we did get out behind them. I thought that kicking game at time was very good, but we did have a couple of charge downs. And yeah, credit goes to Ireland here. They are a quality side, and they have been for a number of years, and they showed it again today.
Gregor, what's the mood like in the dressing room with the players, and what will the challenge be like to pick them back up now? Is it easy to pick them back up for?
Well, it's more than picking themselves back up. They're obviously very, very disappointed losing after the effort they put into the game and also the training week. A couple of players obviously injured. Open is much better, but Darcy's in hospital, so that's never good in your squad when someone's away at hospital. But yeah, we know it's a missed opportunity. Every game that you lose playing for Scotland is a missed opportunity, and we have to wait 2 weeks now for our next opponent, which will be a very tough game.
Gregor, what's Darcy? Have you got any kind of detail or update on?
No, he was still waiting to go for scans. Was the latest I heard. So I believe there's no issues around his neck, but more just seeing what the concussion has came from. So just hoping there's no any broken bones or anything in the face or skull area.
And Finn's, he's built the HIA obviously, but he's kind of one that he's. Assuming he comes
He
from
passed his
HIA.
HIA.
Oh, he passed it, right.
But it was more the communication that Peter Horn and a couple of other guys at the sideline were having with him, and we decided he's not right. But he had passed his HIA, but there was a couple of things he wasn't remembering. plays, so we made the call not to put him back on.
How did you feel?
Yeah, he's fine. He's obviously frustrated that it was a freak injury. You played into your own player. He's happened to him once before, and played into Xander for Glasgow against Connacht many years ago. So it's a huge blow for both those players, two key players for us to be out. We went 6-2 on the bench, and as luck would have it, you lose two backs early on in the game. But I have to say that the two players that came on, Stafford and Jamie, played really well, and I thought Tom played really well at 10. And you're asking them to come on when you're at that stage probably 10-0 down, I think. When you're having to play a lot better as a team, and you've got to drive that up against one of the top teams in the world. So they'll have got a lot of that personally, those three players that had to play in different positions.
Gregor, do you think, away from individual errors and stuff on the pitch, does this run of results against Ireland specifically reflect a structural issue with Scottish rugby against the Irish system?
Well, that's a big question, isn't it? Although I think we have to praise Ireland, what they've done structurally over the last few years. They've been in the top 2 or top 3 of world rugby for a while now, sometimes number 1, often number 2. They're going for something unprecedented this year, which is a third Six Nations title in a row. No team's done that, so what they're doing is producing results and quality performances, and we unfortunately came up against them during this period and not managed to get ahead in the scoreboard at the end, and today was another example of that.
Gregor, Darcy, fair play for not putting Finn back on. I wasn't. Was that a tough decision? Like, is it straightforward?
No, straightforward. I think
Because he's past age, yeah.
passes HIA, and then as soon as we were saying, okay, this is the next play, he was going on what's that play, so those are signs that he's not clear to go back on.
Just on the kind of individual areas you mentioned, the restart, like a minute in, there's a drop high ball, they take over from there, kind of the drop ball before the yellow card. What do you do? Just say don't do that again, or how do you actually make that disappear from the game?
Yeah, well, and there's some different errors. Like I'd say there's an error from the referee when there was an advantage over at the beginning of the game, and Sam Prendergast played very well, kicked the ball, and that is advantage over. And every game I've seen, when you go 2 phases and kick the ball, Duan picks it up, and I'm not saying we're going to score, but it looks like we've got a line break there. They go back to the scrum, and then they make real inroads from the scrum, and that forces penalties. And just obviously errors that just happen in a game. Like you can't stop errors. Like you've got to adapt to them. Matt Fagerson's one where he presented ball and the ball shot out. We actually recovered well. As Hugh Jones got a turnover about 2 phases later, and I don't think it's really an error of Jamie Dobie winning the ball back. It was good play by them to anticipate, and James Lowe to get the ball and get out of 22. The game is so competitive now that and with the new kicking law emphasis, there's more loose balls. The rucks are so contested. They play against Ireland, they play on the edge of the laws. We aim to play on the edge of the laws, so it's not that errors are going to disappear. It's making sure on those drop balls you don't allow the opposition into your 22 or give them easy chances to score.
Have you seen much change in Ireland? Obviously, U10 and Sam, or is it more of the same?
Is it more the same? Probably, yeah. I think they've not had to change much from their game because their games are very successful. So there's little tweaks that we see in how they defend and how they try and keep their discipline, because the interpretation around the breakdown has changed, and that has meant higher penalty counts. So they've maybe changed that a little way, but it's a similar Ireland. It's tight running lines, put your defence under pressure. Sam, there's a reason why they're picking Sam. He's someone that can play that game very effectively.
You bounce back from these kind of defeats before. How kind of weary are you that you're back in this space again? You feel like you're kind of running to stand still with it?
Well, it's a one-off game, and you've got to have context. We're playing a tournament where you've got to play 5 games, and if you start to overanalyze what went on in the one game, you lose sight of what you've been building towards. I think I said before the game, chatting to Andy, that like Ireland the defeats that we've had against Ireland have shaped who we are as well. It's changed a little bit how we played, and that's been transferred to other performances. Didn't transfer well enough today, but you've got to take the learnings out of your game. They're disappointing. Like, no one's more disappointed than me that we weren't able to go 2 from 2 today, and we weren't able to beat Ireland. But they deserve to win, and we've got to make sure that this game, but all the last 4 or 5 that we've played, are part of who we are next time we play.
Gregor, on that, you said the World Cup game's a good defining moment for the team, and but do you feel like it's going to come back to square one a wee bit
No.
today? Because the
No, I
golf-
don't.
Is the golf not as big now as it was then?
The scoreline was big today, but I think I know it's your guys' jobs to talk about this game, but we have to look a bit longer term and where we've been. After that game against Ireland, we did in the World Cup. We changed a lot, who we select, who we are as a team, and that was done with the players as well. Our next game we played a different type of rugby against Wales. We've carried on that. We've added bits to it, and we've been really competitive since then. Today was probably our most disappointing performance, defeat, let's say, since Ireland. But it happens every now and again. So if it was to happen in the next 2 or 3 games, I'd be much more concerned. But today the better team won. We know we gave them opportunities to get their game into place. But I thought, given what was going on with down to 14 and the changes, the players adapted really well and fought their way back into the game, but didn't do enough to win, obviously.
What gives you confidence right now that the whole campaign can still be successful with the 3 games to go?
Well, it's going to be difficult. Look, we've lost to the number 2 team in the world who are going for the 3rd title. Like, if you take it like that, you go, well, it would have been a shock. I think it would have been a massive shock. They were clear favourites if we won, but it wouldn't. Like, we believed we can win, and we worked hard towards a win. Playing our next opponent was always going to be difficult. We don't have a brilliant record down there. It's a very tough place to play, but we do have a very good record recently. But they've came off the back of winning a great game against France. So we know how difficult each game in the Six Nations is. We've got to obviously play much better next time to have a chance of bouncing back with a victory.
You gonna have any of your injured ones back? Is there any prospect of getting anyone back?
Well, I don't know how Darcy will be. Let's hope he gets all clear and it's a 12-day stand down and no more. Cam Redpath played last night or yesterday afternoon. He'll play again this weekend. He got through that game fine. Ben Muncaster, I believe, is available to play. I don't think Cal Stein will be available for the England game, so hopefully I'm not missing anybody, but correct me if I'm wrong. I won't be available for the Six Nations. So yeah, there might be a couple of guys back, and I don't believe, apart from Darcy, anybody's picked up an injury today.
Was fit enough in past the HIA that you're confident you'll be fine for them?
Well, look, I think, I don't know the protocols of passing HIA and then being pulled out. He will now be classed as a failure, like delayed symptoms. So he, I don't know whether that would be just 7 days. So it's based on his record and based on the passing HIA too. But there's no game for next week anyway. So we'd hope he'd make a full recovery in time for England.
Great, thank you. And up to the huddle, please.